You all have seen oxygen cylinders in hospitals. Ever wondered how do we actually know how much gas is inside them? Or think about balloons. Why do some balloons float up easily while others just stay down? Pause for a second and think what could be different between them? Well, different gases have different heaviness for the same amount of space. It means they have different densities. So instead of just saying a gas is heavy or light, we should be able to calculate how dense a gas is. And that's where today's topic become very useful because using the ideal gas we can connect gas conditions to density and even find the molar mass of an unknown gas. The goal is to use ideal gas equation to derive a new relationship that connects density and molar mass of a gas with gas parameters like pressure and temperature. Once we have that, we can apply the concept to solve problems involving gaseous substances. Now, before we jump into solving problems, let's quickly build the foundation. First, think about this. What happens if you squeeze a gas into a smaller space? Pressure increases, right? And that's Boyle's law. Volume decreases when pressure increases. Now, imagine heating a gas. What do you expect? It expands, and that's Charles' law, where volume increases with temperature. And one more. If you add more gas particles into a container, of course, the volume must increase, and that's Avogadro law. So here's a big idea. What if we combine all three? Putting them together, we get a powerful relationship that connects pressure, volume, temperature, and amount of gas all in one equation. And this gives us the famous equation PV equals to nRT. Now, don't just memorize this. Let's understand. Here, P is how tightly a gas is compressed, V is the space occupied, N is the number of moles, which tells us how much gas is present, and T is the temperature, which tells us how hot it is. And what about R? Well, that's just a constant that keeps everything balanced. Now, what if the amount of gas does not change, but conditions like pressure and temperature do? That's where combined gas law comes in. It tells us how a gas behaves when it moves from one condition to another. So basically, these equations are not just formulas, they are tools that helps us understand how gases behaves in real life. Also, if you know five things, say pressure, volume and temperature at two different states, you can always find the sixth. Now we are getting to the main part of the lesson, that is how do we connect the ideal gas equation with density and molar mass. First remember this relationship. Number of moles is equals to mass divided by molar mass. That makes sense, right? Because molar mass tells us the mass of one mole. So if we divide the total mass by the molar mass, we can find out how many moles do we actually have. Now recall the definition of density. Density is mass divided by volume. So already notice something interesting. Mass is showing up in both ideas. That's our clue that these formulas can be connected. Now let's bring in the ideal gas equation PV equals to nRT. But instead of leaving N as number of moles, we substitute N as mass over molar mass. So now the equation becomes PV equals to mass over molar mass times RT. This is the key substitution where molar mass enters the gas equation. Next, we rearrange the equation. If we move things around carefully, we get m over v is equals to pressure times molar mass over gas constant times temperature. Now stop and look at the left side. M over V. Haven't we seen that already? Yes, that's density. So we can replace M by V with D and that gives us the very useful result, which is density is equals to pressure times molar mass over gas constant times temperature. This equation is powerful because it tells us that the density of a gas depends on its pressure, molar mass and temperature. Now let's think about this, what it means physically. If pressure increases, the gas gets squeezed more into the same space, so density increases. If molar mass increases, each mole is heavier, so density also increases. But if temperature increases, the gas particles spread out more, so density decreases. Next, we can rearrange this expression one more time to make molar mass the subject, and that gives us m is equals to dRT over P. This is the formula we will use when we know the density of a gas and want to calculate its molar mass. So, here's a big takeaway from these slides. Starting from the ideal gas equation, we derive two important relationships. First is density is equals to Pm over RT, and second is Molar mass equals to dRT over P. These lets us move between what we can measure like density, pressure and temperature and what we want to find, which is often the molar mass of the gas. Before we jump into solving problems, let's pause for a very important step, which is units. Now I know this might feel like a small detail, but trust me, this is where most mistakes happen. So when we are dealing with the ideal gas equation or the formulas we just derived, we need to be very consistent with units. Let's go through them quickly. Pressure should be in atmosphere, volume should be in liters, molar mass should be in grams per mole, density should be in grams per liter, and temperature always in Kelvin. The last one is very important. Never forget to convert Celsius to Kelvin. Now let's talk about R, the gas constant. If the pressure is in atmosphere and volume is in liter, we use R as 0.0821 liter atmosphere per mole per Kelvin, which can also be approximated to 1 by 12. But if you are working in energy units like joule, then use R as 8.314 joule per mole per Kelvin, which can also be approximated to 25 by 3. Great. Now let's put the formula to work in an actual problem. The first question is, a balloon is filled with gaseous oxide X at a pressure of 1.57 bar. At the same temperature, the density of this gas is found to be 2.5 times the density of nitrogen gas at 1.0 bar. If the molar mass of nitrogen is 28 grams per mole, calculate the molar mass of the oxide. Now, whenever you see a word problem like this, don't rush into the calculation. First, organize the information. So let's identify what is given. The pressure of gas is 1.57 bar. Pressure of nitrogen is 1.0 bar. Molar mass of nitrogen is 28 grams per mole. And a density relation is given as density of X is 2.5 times the density of nitrogen. And what we are going to find? The molar mass of X. Now, what should be the approach for this question? We will use the relationship we derived earlier. That is, at the same temperature, the density of gas is given by Pm over RT. Now pause the video here and first try this question by yourself. Now here's the important idea. When we are comparing two gases at same temperature, in a ratio, R and T will cancel out. That means for two gases at same temperature, the expression becomes density of X over density of N2 equals the product of pressure and molar mass of gas X over the product of pressure and molar mass of N2. This is very smart shortcut. Instead of working with the full formula twice, we compare two gases directly. Now let's substitute the values. We know that density of X is 2.5 times the density of nitrogen. So when we put that in the ratio, the left side becomes 2.5. Now on solving this algebra for Mx, we get the value as 44.6 grams per mole. So the molar mass of oxide X is 44.6 grams per mole. Now let's reflect for a second. What really helped us here? What helped us was understanding that at the same temperature, the gas density depends on both pressure and molar mass. So, when the gas is denser than another, it may be because it has a greater molar mass, or it is at higher pressure, or maybe both. Now, let's try one more question. A gas has molar mass of 64 grams per mole and its density is found to be 2.40 gram per liter at 25 degrees Celsius. Calculate the pressure of the gas in atmosphere. For one more time, pause the video and first try this question by yourself. Now, as always, the first step is to organize the data. We are given molar mass as 64 grams per mole, density as 2.40 gram per liter, and temperature as 25 degrees Celsius. Now here comes a very important checkpoint. Can we use temperature in degrees Celsius directly? No, we must convert it to Kelvin. So convert this into Kelvin at 273.15 to 25, which gives us 298.15 Kelvin. Now what we are trying to find? We need to find the pressure of the gas in atmosphere. Now what should be the approach? Since the question gives us density and molar mass, the best choice is to use the density form of ideal gas equation, which is density is equals to pressure times molar mass over R times T. But we are not looking for density. We already have that. So we rearrange the formula for pressure, which is P is equals to dRT over M. Here, the value of R should be 0.0821 liter atmosphere per mole per Kelvin because we need to find the value of pressure in atmosphere. Now let's substitute the values carefully. On substituting in the above expression, we get pressure as 0.92 atmosphere. So the pressure of gas is 0.92 atm. Now let's think conceptually for a second. Does this answer make sense? The pressure is little less than 1 atmosphere, which is reasonable because the gas has a moderate density and we are working near room temperature. Alright, let's wrap everything up with a quick recap. Everything we did in this lesson started from three simple ideas. The ideal gas equation, which is PV equals to nRT, mole concept, N is equals to mass over molar mass, and density, mass over volume. Now here's the key insight. When we combine these, we unlock a very powerful relationship, which is D is equals to PM over RT. This one equation connects density, pressure, temperature, and molar mass all in one place. But we didn't stop here. We also rearranged it depending on what we need. So if you want to find the molar mass, use M is equals to dRT over P. If you want to find pressure, use P is equals to dRT over M. Same formula, different perspectives. Now here's very important concept to remember. At constant temperature, density is directly proportional to both pressure and molar mass. So if any of the values from pressure and molar mass increases, density increases. Now, before you solve any problem, keep this quick checklist in mind. First, convert temperature to Kelvin. Second, make sure all units are consistent. And third, choose the correct value of R based on those units. Skipping any of these steps can lead to wrong answer even if your method is correct. So, keep practicing. Thank you.